If I wasn't giving the presentation, I might go over it myself. All right, so my name is Sam Taggart, and this presentation is on DQMH style testers for the Actor Framework. How many people use the DQMH? Yeah, you guys use the testers? Like them? Thumbs up, thumbs down? I think they're pretty awesome. How many people use the Actor Framework? What's the Actor Framework? So the one thing I like about the DQMH the Actor Framework does not have is testers. And so I came up with a way to create those, and that's what I'm going to show you guys today. So my goal is to introduce you guys to this AF tester that I have created. There's a link there. If you go there, you can download it. It's on Dropbox right now. It's a DQMH package, but eventually I'm going to put it on GitHub. So if you want to go check it out, that's where you can get it. That link will show up again at the end. I want to try to inspire you guys to do some of your own scripting. Can be intimidating, but it's not that bad. What I did for this probably took me like 100 hours, and it'll probably save you a lot of time going forward. And I want to get some feedback and give you guys' opinion if you think this is useful or not useful, that type of stuff. All right, so I watched Alan's presentation yesterday, and it made me think that there's probably a better way to do what I'm doing, but it works. So Alan's presentation was about doing the bare minimum to do what you need to do. I took the other path, and I said just get it working, and then worry about optimization. So if I put this on GitHub, maybe we can find a better way to do what I'm doing, make it a little bit better.
That's how it works out. I mean, half the time, the right actor, it'll hold a message, I don't need half of these. But you don't realize it.
Yeah, well, exactly. Well, also, too, like you write stuff to be reusable, and then you end up, like, you add extra messages because you're like, oh, well, I might want to do this someday. All right, so I don't know to you guys because I don't really come to the CLA stuff. I know Alan. But so very brief, a little bit about me. I've been using LabVIEW for about 12 years. Been CLA for 8 years. I'm an electrical engineer. I'm not a computer engineer, computer scientist. So hopefully I won't spew all these terms that you don't know anything about. I used to work at Westinghouse. They make nuclear power plants for a few years. Taught at Colorado School of Mines. And now I have a little company called System Automation Solutions. And we just do general LabVIEW development. And we do a little bit of process stuff. So we work with people to teach them how to use source code control and bug tracking and stuff like that. Why is it not? Yeah. Agenda. So I'm going to talk about probably call it idea gist. So where did I come up with the idea for this? I'm going to do a brief demo of the DQMH tester. Since not many people raised their hands, that might be new for some of you guys. We'll talk a little bit about the design process. So talking about thought pattern as I developed all this and the things I was thinking about. Do a demo of the AF tester. And that demo, we can look as deep as you guys want. It just kind of depends on how much time we have. And I need a few minutes at the end just to wrap up. So, all right. So when the Actor Framework first came out back in like 2011, 2012, Steven and Alan were like, "Oh, how do you test your actors?" Well, an actor is just like any other class. It has methods, so you can just call the methods, and that works great for a low-level actor. Like for example, this logger. I can pass it a path and a string. And run this VI, and then I can go look and see if my log file is there, and it's got the data, and everything's fine. But that breaks down. If your actor tries to return some data to the caller, you're not going to get that. If your actor has sub-actors or nested actors, right? And it doesn't really test its actoriness, right? So like the actor's like running and doing stuff, and this is a static test. And just because this passes does not mean your actor will work. You could have some error, you're pre-launching it, and you can't even get your actor off the ground when you're passing all your tests like this. I decided you need a little bit more. And so how best to do this while it's running? Right? So your actors are running, and you want to send it some messages and see what it does and make sure it returns whatever you expect back. And about that time, I ran into the DQMH, and I saw their tester, and I said, wow, this is really great. I want to do something like this. and I was working on a project, and I started scripting them all by hand. I started writing them out and creating a tester for my actor. How many people make test harnesses for their actors? Wow, okay. You really should, because it's super useful. You will find all kinds of problems you didn't know you had.
Test your actors by themselves. Test harnesses.
Yes. So basically what I'm giving you is a scripting tool to make the test harness for you. You press one button and it will generate the entire test harness for you. So you may have to do a little bit of editing, but very, very little. It's almost all automated. So yeah, so I started making it by hand, and after I made two, I was like, all right, these are really similar. So then I made the third one, I copied it, and I copied another one, and pretty soon I was like, wow, I was like, all right, this is tedious. I don't want to do this again. So I created a scripting tool for it. All right, press the button. All right, so let's look at the DQMH real quick, and I'll do a little demo. Oh, I did not. Why did that not? Hold on. All right, there we go. All right, I get this looking over my shoulder. So what I did was I created the DQMH demo project, right? And it's got two modules, a singleton and a clonable, and it's got a couple messages called like do something and do something else. Anybody ever played with that? All right, let's see. My computer's being slow.
Of course.
All right. So I've got two modules. If you don't know anything about the DQMH, each module is in a library, kind of like your actors end up in a library. And they have a public API here, and everything else is private. So we're going to look at my clonable. So it's got two versions, two flavors. We've got a singleton module where when you try to launch one, it just creates, basically you end up talking to the one that's already running if it's running. And the clonable behaves more like an actor. So every time you click the launch another clonable, it launches a new one. All right. But what I'm interested in is this. So test my clonable API, right? So keyword is API. So we're testing the programming interface. So we're testing how the rest of the program would interact with, in this case, your DQMH module. All right. It's kind of hard to do this over your shoulder. But, okay, so we run this tester, and in the DQMH case, if you look at the block diagram, it's just one VI, and it's got event structure. So it's a pretty simple tester. My AF testers are not that simple. But we're going to run a module instance, and you can see we start a new instance, and it's got a number, and I can run 3 or 4. And I have a way to pick which one I want to send my messages to. And I can show panel, and there's a panel pop up on the other screen. Hide the panel. And I can hit all these messages, and it'll send the messages to it, and log whatever comes back. So this status is basically a log of what's been going on. So I think that's about all I really need to cover.
Block diagram.
What?
Show the block diagram.
Show the block diagram, yes. So yeah, the one thing I did not integrate was this show mob panel and hide panel and show block diagram. So, because there's no generic way to do that for all actors. If you want to use the monitored actor, you can probably put those messages in here and do that pretty easily yourself. So I did not add that. So that is one feature that the DQMH has that my actor tester does not out of the box. But it's easy enough. So yeah, so here's a block diagram of a DQMH.
You will always have that option, well, you always have the option to show front panel and
That too. So yes, I forgot about that. But anyway, the basic idea of the DQMH is you have your data in the shift register, and it goes around, and then it's driven. Right? So down here, below where you can see is a DQ. And so events come into your module by user events, that are generated, or front panel events, and then it queues something and sends it down here and affects the state. And then events data goes out of your module by firing off user events. And all those user events are wrapped in some boilerplate code via scripting. So I think that's all I have to say about that. What is this? All right. Let's get on to the more interesting stuff. So I think I hit all the important points that I wanted to cover on that. Oops, I skipped one. Two. All right, so my design is kind of based on this premise that the only way to interact with an actor is to send it messages or receive messages. So looking at this logger, we've got two messages that the logger can receive. You can set the string that you're going to log. You set a string that logs it. And you can set the path. And then I have it set up so that every time you log a string, it sends you back something called log file info that just gives you the size of the log file and some other information. So not super useful, but it's there. And so what we want to do is we want our tester to be able to send every message that we can send to a logger. We want to be able to send that to a logger to test it to make sure it does what it's supposed to do. And any data that's coming back via these abstract messages, we want to register for those so that then we can log those as well. So basically what we're doing is this AUT, this is your actor under test. So it's the actor that we want to test. And generally in your program, it's going to have a caller. And the caller may have other nested actors. And your AUT is going to have nested actors, potentially. So what we're doing is we're cutting the communication with the caller. And instead of the caller, we're going to call it from our tester. And that really only works if you use abstract messages for caller, which is exactly why you should do that. And that also makes your actor under test very reusable because it doesn't care where it's getting messages from or where it's sending messages to. So if you're not using those, you should learn how to use those. And I'll talk to Alan to tell you all about it. The other thing is actors are not singletons, right? So I wanted my tester to be able to launch as many actors as you want. So you can launch 100 at once if you want. You can launch one. And you need a way to pick which one you're communicating with. So I kind of stole this idea of listing all the active actors and then having a drop down to pick which one you want to send your message to. And if you're debugging and you find an issue, you want to be able to retrace your steps. So this log becomes very important. And I actually, online, I added some methods to save that. So you can save it to a file and you can send it to your buddy and say, hey, I encountered this problem. What do you think? And hopefully they can look at it. I even added timestamps because sometimes with actors, timing makes a big difference. So this slide, you should definitely write this down. If you're into scripting at all these libraries are super useful. They do tons of great stuff, and all you have to do is call them. So,
It's hidden gems via debuggers, not debuggers.
did I? Okay. Oops. Yes, hidden gems. Sorry. Yeah, actually, it has a little jewel on the thing. I screwed that up. But yeah, so the framework providers are basically what you get when you right-click on an actor or message, and it says create new message or rescript message. That's what those are. The LV class library is the one for creating new methods. Edit LV libs, I think that's where I got stuff to copy libraries and rename them and save them all. And quick drop's really useful. And if you can't find anything in the quick drop folder, you can go online and there's a quick drop community that has all kinds of scripting stuff that you can also borrow from. So one thing, if you watch Fabiola's presentation, I'm sure she's going to hit on this. When you're scripting, it's way easier to modify something than it is to create it from scratch. So I definitely want to start with a template. So this is a basic set of steps that I came about for my tester. So the first thing I'm going to do is create a new tester by copying a template. So you got your actor, and you go to the tools menu, you click create a new tester. It takes an existing template and copies it and renames everything and moves a bunch of stuff around. The reason that's useful is because you can create your own templates. If you don't like the way I named something or you want to move some stuff around, you can create your own. There are some caveats because I'm doing scripting. It may not work if you change certain things, but you can try and play with it and see what you can do. The next step is to find all the messages that your actor under test can receive or send back to the caller. And it finds all those by looking in the library. So your actor has to be in a library. If it's not in a library with all its messages, it's going to cause problems. And also, it recurses and finds all the messages that you can send to the parent. So if I have my logger and it's a child of some other class, some other actor, maybe whatever messages I can send to the parent, I can also send to the child. So I have to grab those as well. And then step 3, I look at all the messages that go to my actor that I'm testing, and I check to see if they're handled, and I'll tell you why I do that in a minute. And if it's not handled, then I create a message for my tester. So my tester is another actor, because actors are contagious, right? If you want to call an actor and get data back and forth from them, it almost has to be an actor. So for all my messages that go into the actor, I create a message for the tester. And my tester, basically, its actor core has a loop in parallel with an event structure. And you press a button and it sends a message to itself to say, hey, forward this message on to the actor that I'm testing. And we'll take a look at that in a minute. And then for all the messages that the actor can send back, so these are abstract messages, I'm going to create a concrete child class of that. And then I'm going to, before my tester launches the actor I'm testing, I'm going to pass it that concrete class. And by default, all those do is just log and says, hey, I received this message. Right? But as we'll see, it has access to all the data that's coming back. So you can easily pass that to your front panel, or you can just use format to string and add that to your log so that you can see what's coming back. Do we have any questions so far? Everybody follow? Maybe not following what I'm trying to do here? Maybe? Any questions? So part of the reason that I check to see if the messages are already handled is if you've got a hierarchy and say every one of these actors is a UI actor and you can insert the front panel and the sub panel, you can create a tester for the parent class and set up how you want to handle that message. And then you can use that as your template for the next, for each of the children. And then when it gets here, it'll see that you already handled that message, so it won't touch it. And it also allows me to rescript stuff so that if you create a tester and then you go back and you add some messages to your actor, I just skip the first step. It says, create a new tester in my copy because you already have one. And then I just start in right here and find all the messages for it. So it's really handy. It works out quite well. All right. That is not working. All right, so we'll do a demo, but basically this is what you end up with, this front panel. The right-hand side's kind of boilerplate stuff. It's the same on all of them. So you've got to launch new, and you've got a number to launch. So if you want to launch 100 actors, you don't have to press the button 100 times. You just type in 100 and hit launch, and launch 100 of them for you. Lists all the active instances, and then you can select which instance you want to send it to, the messages that you're going to send. You can stop the individual instance, and you can send an error to test your error handling code and make sure it does whatever you think it should do. And everything gets logged. So every time you start a new instance, every time you send a message, every time you receive a message, it gets logged, so then you can play it back if you want. And you can clear the log and save it, and then there's the exit tester. And then everything on the left-hand side, these are all the things that you're sending to your actor. Okay, so all the Boolean buttons are send message, so you press that, it sends a message, and then the controls are to set the inputs that you want to go with that message. It probably could be a little bit better organized, but scripting, it is what it is, and you get it for free, so. Yeah, exactly, you're way ahead of the game. So actually, let me go to the demo now. Actually, if I duplicate it, that will make it even easier. All right, so the meat of my presentation is this demo. So we can go as deep into this demo as you want. I've got plenty of time. I need like 5 minutes at the end to wrap things up. So ask all the questions you want. All right, so I have a logger here. And I have 3 messages. I've got abstract message, it sends data back. And it sends back the size of the file in bytes, the number of entries, and the path. Just some random stuff. And then I've got a log string that logs a string and a write path to set the path. And if we look at the class, that's all the methods it has. Log string basically just appends date time string, writes to a file, gathers some information, and the actor itself keeps track of the number of entries in the file. And if you do the file IO stuff, always clear error 43, because if they happen to click cancel, it will abort your actor. So, yeah.
Stop scanning the win.
Don't forget to do that. All right. So, who wants to guess how much time it would take by hand to create another actor that acted as a caller for that, and create messages for it that sent all those messages, and then create a child of abstract messages to receive that abstract message? That's only 3 messages. I'm willing to bet that takes a good at least half hour, maybe an hour or more. No?
Take about 10 minutes.
10 minutes? Okay.
Maybe 15 to set abstract.
Okay. But then create that whole front panel that you saw too, and
Well,
log
that,
everything.
okay, that's for bare minimum that just sends the message back and forth. That doesn't have the extra tool that we have.
Okay, all right. So basically, the other point I'm trying to make is this will save you a ton of time. So we get down here.
Yeah.
So
More
it's-
importantly, even if it takes a couple of minutes and I can go get a cup of coffee,
Yeah.
I never want to have to write these again, so I'm excited.
Yes. No. Oh yeah. No, because it's super repetitive because they all look the same.
Yeah.
And they do the same thing. So
Scripted.
it's a great tool for scripting. So I have 2 options here: new actor tester, right, which creates a new one, copies the whole template, and then I have rescript actor tester, which just looks and sees if there's new messages that are on hand. So it's not quite as nice as the DQMH. The DQMH, when you create a new message, it automatically updates the tester, but I didn't want to mess with the framework provider stuff, so I thought this was a good compromise. And let me see if I can do something about the resolution. It's kind of driving me crazy. Okay, I don't know if that's any better.
Maybe if you keep that and then change the resolution.
Duplicate. No. Yes. All right. All right. So yeah. So here's the dialog box, and it'll give you a list of all the actors that don't have testers yet. In this case, it's just the logger. And this template is where you specify what template you want to use. I highly suggest if you modify the template, save it off somewhere else, so that then if you update, you get a new VI package because I found a bug or something, then you don't overwrite it. So that'd be a good thing to do.
Yeah. Just a super stupid comment, but like if you're, if you make a next update, like, make dialogues. I don't know why people in Madrid now are used to like making dialogues that don't resize. Like you have like maybe at home like this huge monitor, and then if you just put like one splitter at the top, one splitter at the bottom, then that whole list, you can actually you don't even have to scroll and you can fit it to your monitor. Like as you if you
Okay.
if
No,
you,
that's good. I'll add that to my list. I'm sure you're not the only one who thought that. So, yeah. So yeah, and actually probably change that so that you can actually see the change. So I'm going to select my logger and I click OK, and it goes off and does a whole bunch of stuff, and it takes a while, and there's not a lot of feedback. So I added a little pop-up at the very end that says done scripting. So you just kind of wait till it says done scripting, and then it's done. But you can see it's already adding some stuff to the project. So again, what it's doing is following those 5 steps or how many steps I had, where it's creating all the stuff. And it's calling the message maker stuff under the hood to do all that, because I'm not rewriting all that.
I would question your judgment. That stuff is left open for a reason.
Yeah, it's quite useful, and I actually took some stuff out of there and used some other places too. So
No, there's only a couple of things
And so I should mention that everything that I did is also wide open because I figure if it's make it useful enough, people are going to want to customize it. And so if I make it closed, nobody will use it because they'll be like, oh, it doesn't do exactly what I want to do.
Like adding splitter bars.
Yeah, like adding splitter bars. Yes, you can be the first person to contribute on GitHub. And give us a window.
I'll do it, man.
Be
I'll
the
do
first
it.
to get there first out there.
Then next year you can scream at me. I didn't mean for that to sound negative.
No, I mean, it's useful feedback.
I wrote the note down.
And how did I sign?
Oh, hey, this is certainly not perfect. It's just my first stab, but it works. So that's like, you know, I'm just very happy it works. If you've ever done any scripting, it can be a pain. So I was just glad that I was able to get it to work and do everything I wanted to do.
Testers don't have to be awesome.
Exactly. That was my other thought. Is you're just using this to debug. It's not even an official test, right? Because you're testing it interactively. You're not scripting unit tests. So.
And actually, one thing when you're doing the tester, if you start having to add a lot of code to your tester, it's a moment to take a step back and realize that anything that's calling that API is going to have to add all that code.
Yeah, like all this
Should
stuff.
that code be on the tester, or should that code be actually inside the method or the actor implementation? So that's another thing that you get by using the testers. You become the first user of your API.
So you can do a bunch to make this a little nicer and prettier, but I'm just going to click on Launch Tester. So the only thing I did was I created my class and I clicked Create Tester. Right? So I'm going to launch this, and I get this, which looks a lot like the one we just looked at. And I'm going to select the path for my file, and I'm going to launch a new copy. So I launched a copy of my logger. And I'm going to tell it that's the path I want you to write the file to. And I'm going to send it a string to log. And you can see it sent me back the log file info. So by default, it just tells you it got you the message. All that data is there. It's really easy to throw into a format string. I just didn't do it because it's a problem to do it with scripting because it could be anything coming back. And you know, for simple data types, it'd be fine, but you start passing back other stuff, then you got to figure out your own way. And I can stop it, and everything's great. And if I go here to my file, you'll see that it says hello, UCLA Summit 2018. So everything worked. Yes?
I didn't notice. Did you get positive confirmation after you stop?
Yes, actually, it does give you back. I exited way too quickly. So it does let you know when it gets the last act. It should. Double check that. So I click launch, right? And I'm just going to send it to every instance. So yeah, I got last act back.
All right.
So you get last act, and if it returns data, you can do whatever you want with that.
Awesome.
Anybody have any questions with this much? All right. What does anybody want to see? Because we got time to look at stuff, so tell me what you want to see, and we'll do it. If not, I'll just start randomly picking stuff and we'll look at it. Yes?
Something that I think would be useful when looking at this. This is incredibly handy. I like this. I'm going to be using this.
I hope somebody uses it.
AF Tool Guy says this is awesome. You said that you can simply change the template
Yep.
and do whatever you want with it. How hard would it be to be able to select between a couple of templates? Because something that's incredibly useful to have for actors, especially with automated testing environment, is to put the simulator as the calling actor. So you launch it and you can do a couple of things. And it would be useful. That's obviously the more handwork, you're not going to go straight to that. But once you've got there, it makes the shell.
Yeah. Well, the other thing is, though, right? So every one of those messages is going to the actor that's being tested is a message for the tester. So you can call the tester and pass the tester, say, hey, pass to that this.
Right. So if you
later.
So what? If I understand right, you're making an actor that sends and receives those messages, and then you'll go over your test actor. And I would love to see an extension to this because this is awesome. Hand testing is awesome. When you're first writing it, figuring out what's going on.
But then you want to be able to
script
it. Yeah.
You want to simulate it because you've got the rest of the system, and it's a little bit So having a version of that actor that didn't do anything and simply just did all of that messaging, made methods to receive the messages and made concrete children, did all of that work, but to an actor that was just a shell. And it didn't do anything.
So no, from
and then you go back and you fill in your simulation code.
Yeah.
Yeah. So and since you can change that to a template, it shouldn't be too hard to be able to go, hey, give me a simulator shell or give me a hand tester.
Yeah, the one problem is when it adds all this stuff to the front panel.
But you should be able to shut that.
I definitely can add stuff to do that. So yeah, so the
And
code.
that's ask, it's just
No. Well, the code that does this, like at the high level, I did a good job of like breaking stuff down and stuff. He has everything. At the low level, the scripting stuff just exploded. So eventually, I got to the point where I just started clicking block diagram cleanup and like dropping like notes like this VI over here does this.
Scripting is the only place I use the room, and I use it all the time.
Yeah, so yeah, one of my things at the end is I want to put this on GitHub, but I really want to do some cleanup first because I'm a little embarrassed by some of the scripting.
Okay.
But if you let me know, we can talk some more about exactly what you would need to do that, and I can add some stuff in. And I plan on putting it on GitHub, so anybody else who wants to add to it or can think of ideas like that. Just another plug, at an week I'm going to do a presentation where I'm going to do this, but my plan was to add unit testing actors by like something like Karai or some kind of unit testing thing where you had a thing that was set up. What?
You want to talk between now and then?
Yes. Oh, I definitely. Yeah. So yeah. All right. So some of the other stuff, save log just saves it to a file. You can clear it, and we're gonna exit. And so let's take a look at what was generated, right? So for every actor that we generate a tester, it's going to generate a, so in this case, a logger. So I got a logger tester library. And so all the messages, I picked the naming scheme. So true AUT are the messages that the tester is sending to the actor under test, and from AUT are the concrete messages it's receiving back. And under your logger tester class, right, you've got folders for each of those. So for example, this from AUT log file info. Right now you can see that it just logs that you received the message. But you can see you have these controls here. It would be very easy to do a formatting to string and add that in there. And then in the little window, it'll display the size of the log file and the retrieves path for everyone. And if you wanted to pass other data back, then you just have to create another user event and pass that back and you can display it on the front panel or do whatever you want to do.
Can you show the active core tester?
Yes, absolutely. So yeah, if you want to see something, just ask, because otherwise I'm just going to randomly start picking stuff to look at. Okay, so you've got an initialization frame that does some boilerplate stuff, and then you simply got an event loop. And for every message that you're sending to your actor core, when you press the button, it just sends a message. So to answer some of your questions, Alan, okay, don't do that. So part of the way the scripting code works is I have the stop one already written, and so then I just clone that VI and method on my tester and then add it here. So you could probably turn that off by adding it to the, because that's in a separate VI, so please look at the case structure on that and say, okay, for whatever reason for this thing, don't do that. And then you wouldn't have to have this actor core wouldn't even have to be here, just have to be. Okay. Whoa. Sorry, I don't usually present stuff with the microphone. All right. So this 2AUT. All right. You can tell I work alone and I use a high resolution monitor. If I work with people with small resolution monitors, they probably kill me. So this is what it looks like when it sends a message to your actor under test. So I have an enqueuer manager, which is a class that handles all the different enqueuers. So when you launch an actor, it grabs the enqueuer and holds onto it, and then you can access it by name. That's got a list in the list box. And here, all I'm doing is grabbing all the enqueuers, and then in a for loop, I just send the message, and add a log that I sent it. So when you get a new message, I just take this whole thing, copy it, replace the send message with whatever message you want to send, create the controls out of the front panel, and I call Alan's scripting thing that generates a message. And then I go back to the actor core and recreate another frame in the event structure. That's actually not terribly straightforward, but once you figure it out, it's not bad. Other questions? You look like you got a question, Alan.
No, it's not. because I was asked to take care of something and you've done some of the scripting for that point. So,
Great. Hey.
So you stole the scripting from me and I'm doing it.
Okay. Fire screen, your best friend. Awesome. Yeah, so like right path, for example, does the same thing. So it's basically the same. It looks a little bit different because at the end I hit the broom and clean it up because it's scripting and it looks ugly anyway, so I might as well try to make it look less ugly. All right, still got some time, right?
Yeah, around 10 minutes.
10 minutes, all right. What does anybody else want to see?
You said, sorry, you said that it can also do something with nested actors. So if you have like a main actor and then it's calling two nested actors, like your tester could actually send messages to, well, I guess it would route them through the main.
It routes them through the actor you're testing, yeah.
Okay.
So I mentioned that because if you're just testing the methods, it's almost impossible to test something that would pass a message down and delegate something to a nested actor. Right? Because you can't launch a nested actor unless you're running. If I remember correctly, I didn't try, but I kind of thought that was the paradigm.
I'm sorry, I was thinking.
Yeah.
Well, if I
Could you launch a nested actor if you're not running? If you're an actor? I don't think so.
No.
Yeah.
There's a testing BI on the pallets that, to be honest, I have never ever used.
That like generates some cues. And,
Yeah, some cues and stuff.
Yeah, you mentioned at the beginning that you couldn't test the BI and test its actor functionality. That's what that BI allows to do, is because it allows you to inject a cue, but it doesn't set it up as nicely as you got it here. But it's a quick way to do extract a nested and inject a cue into it and test it as available.
So this is a better way?
This is definitely better.
Okay.
The other one is definitely faster, and you can use it to set up some smaller tests. It's nice with BI tester.
Yeah.
But this is much more complete.
Yeah, this is definitely not lightweight by any means.
Yeah.
I mean, you're creating a whole other actor, and you're like duplicating the number of messages. So,
If you look at the palettes, you find the red background BI. So you just scroll through it. What it does is it cheats behind the scenes to create an EQer that normally you don't have access to, and injects it into the actor as if it was as if it had gone through watch actor.
okay.
And in fact, when thinking of it, you might use that BI here to possibly. No, maybe not. You might take a look at it. It might be useful for you in some of these cases.
Okay. Yeah, so here you can see this is where the scripting adds the concrete message class. I used the quick drop thing there, the insert. That was pretty easy. All I had to do was find that wire and do the insert command and stuck it right in there. Yes?
You showed that you can save the log file.
Yes.
Would it be possible to extend this application to save the binary message, of every message you send along with a timestamp? So in fact you could save some kind of script to repeat the same test at the same time at a later time?
I don't see why not.
Because that could be useful if you finally manage to show some defective behavior in your actor. You can save this and do the exact same test after you think you have fixed it.
Yeah, no, I think that's actually really useful.
And yeah, actors, just use file constraint on the message class. It works just fine. That's how we send them across networks.
Yeah. Yeah, so all you would actually change, so...
I wouldn't display that.
Well, I mean, you could honestly probably change, well, you would go into the send message, so, for example, here, and just take this message. Well, actually, how do you get, if you get a send message, how do you actually get the message out? You'd have to, you couldn't use the send message, you'd have to do something else. So you could do it. This probably wouldn't do it directly. Right? Because you can take the message and drop it in the enqueuer.
Yeah.
But then you got to bundle in all this stuff that you...
Right, which normally does. Yeah.
Which normally doesn't happen, which is kind of why I went with this way, because this is how you're going to use it. Like in your program, your calling code is going to look a lot like the tester. So that's kind of why I went with that approach.
I love how this session is turning out into an architectural design review, code/code review. This is awesome.
Yeah. Hey, I got tons to learn. So, yeah. Any other? I mean, I can do the re-scripting part if you want, but it's not that much more exciting.
I had a question earlier about why error code 43.
Yeah.
It's the code for cancel error in LabVIEW, and I was an idiot and reused the error code because it was like cancel error. It's what shuts down processes. It's what we throw when we cancel all stuff. So I just used error code 43, and I had a special one for things, and now you can't properly trap the error 43 if anything else throws it because it's not unique.
And that's why we shouldn't stop.
But I also can't change it because we break everyone's code.
No, but like one of the annoying things though is like if you have a file thing to open a file and for some reason you forget to wire it and it pops up and then somebody clicks cancel.
Yeah, just don't use file IO.
Yeah. Well, I found out, so I thought if you just wired it and you wired an empty constant it would do that, but it doesn't. If you wire an empty one, it gives you some other error. So, yes.
This isn't to do with Actor Framework business, but you see on the generate user event, you put the error in it.
What, this?
Yeah.
What about it?
I find myself never wiring the error into that, so I find if the error goes in, it won't trigger the event, so I always manage the errors after that.
I guess it depends on if you want the thing to be logged or not. So, yeah. In my case, I don't want it to log if the send fails, because I didn't send the message. Oh, I have a question. Maybe Alan will answer this question. If you're sending messages to your caller, do you wire the error out of that or not? Because I've got, what?
Depends.
See, in general,
The caller's always going to be there, so the caller was all due. Because if your caller's not there, you've got a problem.
well, I'm thinking then I can run that as a top-level VI. Or I can run it as a nested, or sorry, top-level actor.
Well, if you design an actor that you expect it to run either as top level or mid-level somewhere,
Yeah.
then yeah, you probably wouldn't want to wear that.
Yeah, so that was my thought.
I often,
Because the only time it's going to fail is if the queue's bad, and then you're not going to know about it anyway, right?
it's all going to go away.
Yeah, I don't know. So that's an interesting question. But anybody else have some questions? I think we still got a few minutes.
5 minutes.
What? 5 minutes. All right, well, I'll go back to my slides if anybody wants to see anything else. I got like 2 or 3 more slides.
Yes, you're sharing the.
Oh,
I was saying you're sharing the code
yes.
on that link. It's already there. It's a Dropbox.
Yeah. So that's like a landing page, and it's got a video that kind of describes it and goes through the demo that I did, and there's a link there to get to the Dropbox. And eventually it'll end up on GitHub, but I really want to clean it up first. So yeah, you can see all my dirty laundry before I send it to everybody. Yeah. Oh, we can look at. I'll show you where the code is real quick. So everything that's there, if I remember correctly, goes in and I LabVIEW resource. I think is it resource? No, it's a project.
Yeah.
All right. I got confused by some things. So SAS.
Have you written a project planner before?
What?
Have you written a project planner before?
No. I thought about doing that for this, but that seemed like a lot to learn in time for this presentation. So.
Yeah, well, and Mr. Maker started off as one of his lawyers, and then migrated to project. I can talk about that.
Yeah. But yeah, so here are the 2 VIs that execute, and there's a bunch of support stuff. And here's the template. So if you ever want to change the template, that's where it is. As I said, I recommend you copy that somewhere so that if you get a new update to the package manager, you don't override any changes you made. And if you have like a deep hierarchy, you can create a tester for the parent and handle all the common messages so they all look the same, and then we script other ones if you don't touch them. Any other questions? All right. Let's go back to my slides. So that's the demo. These slides are basically kind of what we've been talking about already. All right, so some caveats when using this. It works best if your actors and messages are created by the project provider. So if you go take the code that you're going to download in the VIPM package and you try to run it on the evaporator cooler demo project, it will fail. Because that was created before all the message maker stuff, and some of the messages don't follow the strict conventions as far as naming and where they're placed. If you don't like that, you can go change the scripting code and make it do whatever you want. So you have complete access to it. It's best if you strictly follow the actor tree, or at least the actor you're testing doesn't talk across the tree, because then the tester will work and find all the messages and script everything. If not, then you may have to do something else if it interacts with some other actor. Or just test higher up the tree. You're looking at me kind of quizzically.
I'm just looking at the bullet points.
Oh, okay.
How would you get there before I ask my question?
Yeah, so you must use abstract messages for caller. Not necessarily must, but it'll work best if you do, because otherwise, you're linked to your original caller and it's just a mess. It only finds messages in containing libraries. So if you got a library way over here with messages like Alan suggested in his presentation the other day, it's not going to find it.
But I'm talking about how to choose that.
Yeah, we can definitely talk about that. And LabVIEW 2015 definitely crashes with this, because I tried to write it in 2015 and spent hours on the phone with an eye, and I tried it in 2017. I was like, all right, forget that. So it's in 2017. If you really want it in 2016, I can probably backport it for you, or you can backport it yourself. But you can make all the changes you want, so you have everything. All right, so next steps. This bit.ly link is where you can get it. I would at some point like to put on the Tools Network and on GitHub or GitLab. It'd be really nice to mix it in with the project provider, so when you right-click and create a new message, if it detects that you have a tester, it automatically updates. And I want to refactor the low-level scripting code before I make it public. Any more questions? All right, that's it. Perfect.
Thank you.
If you actually use this, it will save you a ton of work.
There is no head.
Well, I'm only enthusiastic because I did it for a long time. I know how much work it is to make this law. Yeah, and it's not that bad. Like, I thought it would be really intimidating. Like maybe 100